The law of attraction doesn't work. At least, not the way they taught you. And by the end of this video, if you have a bit of common sense, I believe you'll agree with me. Be honest. How many times have you tried applying those formulas everyone keeps repeating? Like visualizations, positive affirmations, vision boards, writing yourself $1 million check, and nothing changed. If everything depended solely on an intense desire and believing in it with all your might, your life would already be completely transformed. But here we are, and what I'm going to explain in this video will definitely make the law of attraction gurus furious. Let me tell you something up front so you can watch the video with less resistance. The problem isn't you. The problem is that they taught you the wrong game. And you've been playing that game for years without realizing the real rules were always hidden. I need to tell you that the manifestation of reality doesn't happen because you want it to. It's going to happen anyway, whether you want it or not. And more than that, at this very moment, you're creating your reality. But when you respect certain laws, logically everything gets easier. The question is, are you willing to respect them even if you're not immediately rewarded by the results? Forget this positive thinking, or feeling as if it's already yours stuff. That's just the tip of the iceberg. My name is Noah, and this is the Hermes Code channel. Here I teach you how to apply Hermetic teachings in practice so you can become the master of your own reality. Speaking of reality, I need to tell you that it's shaped by invisible, yet predictable forces. These forces, principles or laws, govern everything you experience, from the patterns of success and failure in your life to the reasons why certain things never work out, no matter how hard you try. And these forces were described centuries ago in the Kybalion. They don't work occasionally. They don't choose who to favor. They're always operating, and you might be violating all of them without even realizing it. The question isn't whether you're manifesting your reality. You already are, and I hope that was clear before we go any further, because that's a key idea you need to fully understand and absorb in order to take more confident steps from here on. The real question is, are you manifesting what you actually want, or just repeating a cycle that never changes? Are you truly thinking, or are you being thought? That's a subject we'll dive into in upcoming videos, where I'll show you how free will becomes relative when you're not conscious of your own reality. If your life feels like an incomplete puzzle, where the right pieces never seem to fit, maybe it's because you're still trying to force the game instead of understanding the rules. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Because once you understand the Hermetic laws, manifestation stops being a gamble and becomes a clear, conscious process. But before I show you how it works, I need to prove to you why everything you've believed about manifestation until now was wrong. Most people believe that attracting what you want is a game of persistence. If it didn't work, it's because you didn't visualize enough. If nothing changed, it's because you didn't wish hard enough. And so they stay trapped in an endless cycle, believing that if they just feel it intensely enough, the universe will be forced to deliver. But here's the truth no one wants to tell you. Creating your own reality isn't about wanting more or better. It's about becoming compatible. And that's the part almost no one understands. You can spend the whole day repeating affirmations, but if your vibration doesn't match what you desire, I'm sorry, but nothing's going to change. And when I talk about vibration, I'm talking about your energetic signature, which is made up of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. You can visualize the perfect future every night, but if your mind is out of alignment with the laws that govern creation, you're just wasting energy. And the worst part? Reality is already being manifested at every moment. Your vibrational signature is shaping every single event of your day. That's why instead of attracting what they want, people attract exactly what they are. If you believe life is hard, your mind builds an environment where everything becomes an obstacle. If you're stuck in the past, you keep recreating the same situations in endless cycles. If you live in scarcity, all your decisions reinforce that scarcity, even without realizing it. This happens because there's an invisible structure governing everything. And it doesn't matter whether you're aware of this structure or not. The laws keep operating. The Kybalion explains that the universe follows an exact system, where everything that exists is a mental projection of the all. I already explained this in the previous video. And what does that mean? It simply means that nothing manifests by chance. Behind everything, there's a pre-existing cause. If your life feels stuck, it's not bad luck. If you keep repeating the same patterns, it's not coincidence. It's the direct consequence of the laws you've been unknowingly breaking. And here's what almost no one understands. You don't need to force anything. You just need to learn how to play by the right rules. Because as long as you keep trying to bend reality with positive thinking and sheer willpower without conscious direction, you'll stay frustrated. And now I ask you, are you ready to see what remains invisible to most people? I know that hearing all this might have left you frustrated, and I get it. I spent years throwing away my vital energy, believing in simplified methods and formulas that only misled me and wasted my time. I used to wake up early, do my visualizations, write my intentions on paper. I made an effort to keep the right mindset, to feel as if I already had what I wanted. And even so, nothing. The same challenges kept showing up. The same barriers, the same patterns repeating, like my life was a movie stuck on loop. And you know what's worse? I blamed myself. But as everything has its right time, little by little I started to realize that what I believed in had no solid foundation, and that's when I saw the trap I had fallen into. Things couldn't stay that way. I had to do something about it, because the more I insisted, the more I reinforced the belief that I didn't have what I wanted. I was stuck in a contradiction, trying to create abundance from a place of scarcity, trying to manifest change while resisting the natural flow of life. And then came the first insight. What if I've been trying the wrong way? Why keep following guru advice when I could go to the source of wisdom and draw my own conclusions? That's when I discovered the Hermetic laws. And for the first time, I stopped trying to manifest by force and started observing how the laws were already operating in my life. I realized the problem was never my lack of desire or my inability to visualize consistently. The problem was that I was fighting against universal principles that cannot be broken. And as soon as I stopped resisting and began to understand these laws, the pieces started to fall into place. Not because I tried harder, but because, for the first time, I stopped sabotaging myself without even realizing it. If you've ever felt that way, trying everything and still not understanding why nothing works, then I know exactly where you are. And I also know that once you dive deep into the principles and teachings of Hermeticism, you'll understand why everything has always happened the way it did. The only question is, are you ready to open your eyes to it? There's a feeling that few people ever experience in life. The lightness of knowing you no longer have to fight against reality. When I understood how the 7 laws really work, I realized the universe was never against me. I just didn't know, I was ignorant, in the sense of not knowing how to deal with this mechanism we call life. That's when the barriers began to disappear. And not because the circumstances around me suddenly changed, but because I changed the way I interacted with them. Life stopped being a series of failed attempts and became a dialogue with the universe itself. Now, when I need to reorganize and redirect my life, I don't beg, I don't wait, I don't insist. I simply create the internal environment that makes that manifestation possible. I do the best I can within my current conditions. In other words, I plant the best seeds now, creating favorable conditions for those seeds to grow in the future. If I want to attract new opportunities, I align my vibration with what I desire, because I know we attract what we are, not what we want. If I notice cycles repeating, I don't react with frustration. I observe the cause, because I know nothing happens by chance. If something seems stuck, I adjust my own rhythm, because I understand that everything manifests at the right time. The difference between someone whose life flows according to the Hermetic laws and someone who spends their life trying without success is not luck, or talent, or mystical power. It's knowledge. It's knowing how things really work. Knowledge is power. When you master this, everything changes. You start consciously managing your life instead of being controlled by the circumstances and the turmoil you've created yourself. From now on, you will never see the manifestation of reality the same way again. Because if there's one thing I've learned from the Kybalion, it's that reality doesn't bend to our desires. We must bend ourselves to the laws that govern it. And if you truly want to transform your life, you need to stop asking, "How do I manifest this?" and start asking, "Who do I need to become for this to manifest naturally?" Because that's where the secret lies. Mentalism reveals that everything starts in the mind. But that doesn't mean just thinking positive. It means that your external world is an exact reflection of what's inside you. If you want something to change out there, you first need to change in here. Correspondence teaches that everything in the macro reflects the micro. In other words, if your life is stuck, there is something inside you that is stuck too. So, before trying to change the external circumstances, observe what's misaligned in your internal world. Vibration shows that every thought, emotion, and action you have is sending a signal to the universe. If your vibration is not aligned with what you desire, it doesn't matter how much you want it, you simply won't be compatible with it. Things are attracted by vibrational affinity, and you need to understand that as soon as possible. Polarity proves that everything has two sides. So, when you desire something, you're automatically creating the path for its opposite as well. It's up to you where to focus your attention. If you don't know how to balance this duality, you'll always be pulled backward. Rhythm teaches that everything follows cycles. If you understand this, you stop fighting against time and learn to act at the right moment. Causality destroys the idea of randomness. Nothing happens without a previously built cause. If you want a different future, you need to plant the seeds of what you want to harvest right now. And mental gender shows that all creation depends on the balance between receptive energy and active energy. If you don't know how to balance this, you will be nothing but a puppet in the hands of destiny. In other words, you need to nurture your desires, but you also need to act. In other words, mental decision and perseverance and consistency in the physical realm. These are the rules of the game. And when you master them, you no longer need to chase anything. You simply become the kind of person for whom what you want is already natural. And when this happens, your chances of attracting favorable outcomes increase considerably. At this point, you might be feeling something different. A mix of curiosity, excitement, and maybe even a little discomfort. Because when we discover we've been playing with the wrong rules all this time, there's no going back. Now that you understand that the key is aligning yourself with the laws that are already operating in your life, the only question left is, what else have you not yet seen? And that's exactly why this video is just the beginning. In the next videos, I'll continue this journey with you. But I won't be here as a teacher handing you ready-made answers. I'll be by your side, as someone who's also exploring these laws in practice, testing, failing, learning, and seeing the results happen in real life. So, if this new worldview makes sense to you, you won't want to miss what's coming next. In the next videos, we'll dive deeper into each of the Hermetic principles in a light, applicable, and direct way. Because knowledge without application is just another theory tossed to the wind. And what I want here is not to give you more information. I want to give you a new perception of reality. On your screen, 2 more videos are appearing that complement what you've seen so far. I thank you for staying with me until the end. Comment below, I am a conscious co-creator, just so I know who's part of the 1% that is willing to evolve. See you in the next video.